welcome back to another school year. And at least for now, we are starting with in-person classes. I'm going to anticipate pretty full classrooms, and a lot of you are going to be anxious to understand what are going to be the expectations this year. And your teachers are all going to be giving you different things, syllabuses. I would like to, start off in my class by focusing on why this class should be important to you. And why not just important because you need to pass it to graduate from high school, but why the skills I'm going to guide you in developing, why those skills are important to you, not just to get a job, not just to get through college, but just to improve your lives. So this first set of slides and this video is to give you kind of a background as to why your English class and the skills in this class are important skills to you. So first, I want to use the word here, literacy. And because really this class is about developing your literacy skills. Now, literacy is not limited to one particular language. To be multi-literate means to be able to read and write in more than one or in multiple languages. Now, I put over here listen and speak, but those are not technically included in the literacy. Most people grow up with language. You grow up able to understand the language spoken around you, and you yourself develop spoken language skills. So literacy is really separating out reading and writing as two sets of skills that you need to work at to acquire. So although your listening and speaking skills may be adequate for the majority of your life, you may think of those skills as being language skills. Literacy really means that you need all four, and the reading and writing are more difficult to acquire. They take more really intentional work to get better at them. Why is that important? So why is literacy important? And I'm going to put listening and speaking in there, and I'll get to that in a minute. But why reading and writing? Why reading? And so first I want to point out literacy is the key academic skill on which all future skill and knowledge acquisition is based. All future skill and knowledge is based. Acquisition means to acquire, to develop. So everything that you are going to do in the future is based on this particular skill. It's not based on your math skills. It's not based on your science skills. It's not based on your geography skills. It's based on your literacy skills. Okay, so no matter what you go and do, those literacy skills are going to really help you out. And then I'd like to introduce a second term, and it is really a central part of this class, which makes this class different than other classes you're going to take, is that I am going to guide you in developing your intellectualism. Now, what does that mean? You're going to say, oh, intelligent or intellect. And yes, those are the root ideas here. But what exactly is intellect? Now, intellect is the opposite of emotion. So I can have an emotional response or I can think about it. Now, most people go this thinking about it as opposed to feeling it. And the thinking we associate with logical, with analysis. And so intellectualism is the ability to think about or discuss something in a detailed and intelligent way. The more that you can separate yourself from your emotional response, the more it becomes intellectualism. So we are going to be working on developing literacy skills, and we are also going to be really developing our ability to intellectualize things, to think about them in a detailed and intelligent way, and then express our own ideas. What's really important here is the last thing in this slide. Researchers have found that the 4 language skill areas, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, are all integrated and contribute to people's understanding of the world around them, understanding of the world around you. That these 4 skills not only are academic skills that all other knowledge and skill acquisition is based on them. If you don't have these skills, you're not going to be able to acquire other knowledge and skills. But we also know that all four are integrated in a way that actually is how we see our world, how we understand our world. And so literacy and intellectualism are key to understanding our world, and to acquire more knowledge and understanding. I'm going to read through this very quick, but this slide is included in this presentation and you can look at it if you haven't heard about it before. But it is something very important to me as an English teacher. Low-income children hear 2/3 fewer words in the home each hour than children of more affluent families. That means that people who grew up in families with less money hear only about 1/3 the number of words of kids who grow up in wealthier families. And we're not talking English or Spanish or other languages. We are talking about any language, anywhere. 1/3 the number of words. This means that between the ages of 0 and 3, a low-income child is exposed to some 30 million fewer words than a high-income child. This lack of exposure has the average low-income child arriving at the first day of kindergarten with only 1/2 the vocabulary of her more affluent peers. So what do we know? What am I trying to share with you? It means that literacy is tied to skill and knowledge acquisition. And we know that if you come from a family that doesn't have a lot of money, by the time you even start school, you're already behind all of those that have money. And not just in their money, but in the key academic skill called literacy. And you're behind by 2/3. Research has repeatedly demonstrated that success or failure in forming a foundation of basic literacy in the early grades is a strong indicator of later academic success. In fact, according to the National Research Council, academic success as defined by high school graduation can be predicted with reasonable accuracy by knowing someone's reading skill at the end of 3rd grade. Reading skill. I can predict how you're going to do in high school based on your 3rd grade reading level. A person who is not at least a modestly skilled reader by that time is, quote, unlikely to graduate from high school. While leading charter schools have proven that it is still possible to overcome these deficits during middle and high school, it requires tremendous academic remediation to do so. And that's where we are today. And this is the reality of the class. It's the reality of who you are as students. We are coming out of a pandemic. We are coming out of distance learning. We are coming out of so many different factors. And the truth is that almost everyone is now lower in their reading, in their literacy skills. Reading and writing just haven't been happening. Intellectual dialogue has not been happening. And so we're at this point of tremendous academic remediation, not only because of working with people who come from families that don't have as much money, but also that we're coming out of a 1.5 years of compromised learning. And we may anticipate more of this compromised learning coming up. So it is my job, and this course's goal is to help you continue to develop your literacy skills, to continue to develop, in particular, a focus on your reading skills, okay? And in order to do that, I highlighted some of these things in red. Relentless focus on literacy skills. And literacy skills for me in this class is going to be reading and writing and other things, but at the heart of this is getting everybody reading and improving your reading skills, okay? Dedicating significant time to teaching, reading, and writing, explicitly teaching phonics and comprehension strategies, and fostering fluency through extensive practice reading and writing. Okay, a deep love of reading, and that's my goal in this class, extensive practice. Okay, practice, practice. And to try to get you to read some stuff that maybe isn't going to be that bad for you, and focus on it. And the last slide to end this video, this idea that reading and listening are receptive skills. They're passive. They're like watching a video. You aren't having to do anything. You actively aren't doing anything. You're processing things internally. So you are receiving information and ideas. So reading and listening skills are super important. Reading is the primary way in which we can receive information and ideas. Yes, in this modern digital age of videos, that a lot of our receptive information is now coming through audio. It's coming through the spoken word. But I'm going to tell you, most of what you need to access is going to still be some sort of text. These are receptive. And then we have what are called the productive skills. That means to produce your own ideas, to produce your own information. And I would put thinking in this group, although it's not one of the 4 language skills, but thinking, but being able to write it into text, because reading and writing are both 2 skills you need to work on, but also using your spoken skills. So in this class, we're going to be trying to develop our intellectual skills, our analytical skills, and I'm going to be asking you to speak. I'm going to be asking you to use your language aloud in order to increase your not only receptive ability, the better you will understand it better by doing that, but it'll also help in developing your writing skills. According to research, there are substantial correlations among these 4 language processes. Correlations, that means overlaps between them. So when students are listening or speaking, they're also advancing their reading and writing skills. So that means that when you listen to someone using more advanced language, it'll actually help you become a better reader. Listening to a good reader read while you read along will improve your reading skills. And so I go back to the first slide here. That idea of improving those skills, improving your reading and writing skills, because you have to focus on these literary, it's the key academic skill, and working on improving those. So this is the purpose of the class. Those 2 key things are the large course objectives: to improve your literacy skills and to improve your critical thinking, your intellectualism, and your ability to express that either through spoken words or through written. The next video will go over the details of exactly what's the work going to look like, how do you get a grade in here, what are going to be the requirements. But I want to continually encourage you to engage the class, not to pass the class or to get the grade, but to actually focus on becoming a better reader, writer, thinker, and speaker.